Well, folks, welcome to day number 14 of the Winter Classic. How's everyone going? It's your boy Ism33, ready to bring you some pretty interesting action as we close out our second week and only have a couple days remaining of the Winter Classic. Two big boy matches tonight, and well, we're going off with a bang to start this one off. So I'm pumped up, ready to go, ready to talk all this stuff about the Winter Classic and our 4 stars here tonight. So why don't we head to the City Limit Arena and get this show on the road. Woo! 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 Well, Lyra Valkyria's brought out the wings for this one. Ready to go to work here. As the Raven's wings soaring high. Looking.
The following is scheduled for one fall. Making her way to the ring from Dublin, Ireland, Lyra Valkyria.
Woo! 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 Looking for her first W here in the Winter Classic. A similar sort of story can be told by her opponent. Valkyria really struggling with the difficulty in this tournament. However, I would say she has put on some pretty epic showings and close performances since the first bell. Tonight, she has a chance to maybe rise up a few seeds. Obviously, with how things are shaping up, a potential tiebreaker situation could fall into play for either one of these ladies.
From Los Angeles, California, Victoria.
This battle for 8th seed and 7th seed can realistically make or break one of these stars, because 0 points puts you probably in a tiebreaker with Division 1's Alexa Bliss, who's currently sat on 0 points. He has one more matchup to go, and that is tomorrow against the double champ Fallon Henley. But for now, focus should be on this matchup as we get underway, and Victoria's out of the gate first with a big time clothesline. Now, obviously, the big difference between 7th and 8th seed is which side of the bracket you start on. Obviously, if you are in 7th, you will face the 2nd seed. 8th faces the 1st seed. And that is a make or break situation, as Rolling Thunder coming through from Victoria, connecting pretty easily on that shot. But yet, it's a lot of sort of situations that play out dependent on the result of this matchup. And to be honest, if you get a better seeded matchup, obviously 5th, 6th, 4th and 3rd will all face one another in a certain sequence. This matchup right here is make or break realistically for both sorts of situations. 3 points is obviously a finishing point for certain stars, like Alexa Bliss, Liv Morgan, as well as Fallon friggin' Henley. All can finish on 3 points, or let me rephrase it, a combination of those can finish on 3 points. Obviously, with tomorrow's matchup with Fallon and Alexa, if Alexa wins, she goes up to 3. Fallon's also stuck on 3, and we'll have tiebreakers there. It's a sort of conundrum that will be fixed based upon how these results really do pan out. And that is what's so good about this short form tournament. The Winter Classic with only 4 stars, with only 2 full weeks of action, 3 matches in the round robin stage of seeding. As we focus back in the match, Victoria has Lyra up for the Widow's Peak, stabs her down into the mat. Pinfall attempt as you see the blood trickling across the top of the head of Valkyria there. Not a pleasant sight, to say the least. Meanwhile, Victoria up and over, slingshotted into that leg drop. They're going to keep the pressure on as well as she follows Valkyria out to ringside. Just trying to drop the attacks, but finally Valkyria avoids one. Going to send Victoria packing, running towards the city skyline on our barricade. Obviously, fighting tonight in the city limits arena. This is potentially one of our greatest arenas ever for a lot of different reasons. And well, if we look at how this main event turned out, this was where Fallon and Lyra went to war in that 2 out of 3 falls match that gave the double champ had that double belt situation. Interesting pin position here. Victoria almost getting the win off that maneuver. Unable to do so, but she's still showing her confidence. Standing moonsault press. Hitting the mark there for Victoria, and she usually follows it up with this, the second one, the floating moonsault off the top. Connecting with ease is the Black Widow. And this has really been a dire situation for the former television champion. Obviously, both ladies have challenged for said belt in their careers here in IPW. Victoria, the latest challenger. Lyra, the last champion before Fallon Henley took over and Fatal Influence's dominance felt supreme over Primetime's women division. Anyway, focusing back on the match, Lyra setting up Victoria, tries to go for that executioner's leg drop, gets caught in the powerbomb, and now Victoria setting her up for something big. The grasp is avoided though, and Lyra's firing back some big shots. Now the combination comes flying through. Victoria eats a German suplex, and Lyra picking up the tempo, getting into a favorable situation, hooks Victoria up and brings her down with the Fisherman's Buster. Spikes her head first, going for the cover. Has Lyra done enough? The answer's no, because Victoria's kicking out at 2. The tempo quickens with Lyra in control. As well, she's felt disrespected throughout this tournament. Obviously, the competition, a steep curve to climb. With the fact that obviously she has to face two champions in the form, one champion, a title challenge star in form of Becky Lynch, who will have the opportunity to cash in her briefcase whenever she deems fit. But now, former challenger is in her path, and well, this is the Ranger competition as the frog splash connects. Lyra's into the cover. She's bouncing back into this matchup. It's turned into a close affair. Closer than what it started at. This has been a massive turn of events. The tide changed. This is making this a pretty epic battle. This is Tournament Valkyria on display. That solid strength of a warrior who realistically got caught now. I was going to say the strength of the star that earned herself a television championship shot, winning it in that fatal 4-way. Now, now being put to the test as that spinning heel kick caught. Victoria sends her for a run and hits the power slam. The Black Widow, it's her time to feast. Has Lyra bitten off more than she can chew now as the comeback feeling promising? Maybe not. Valkyria sending Victoria to ringside. Chasing down the former contender. Is said former champion. The boot caught. Victoria scooping up and brings her down into a backbreaker. Up on the shoulders. I thought for a second we were going to get Nightwing. Instead, it's a sidewalk slam, and Victoria's keeping the pressure on. Hooks up Valkyria here on the outside. And that's a Widow's Peak. Comes crashing down. And the carnage continues here as well. The count reaches 6. Valkyria returned to the ring. Victoria keeping the pressure on. Scales up the top turnbuckle. There's the floating moonsault and going quickly into that cover. Is this enough to... No. It felt like she had it all summed up. Everything done. But no. Still pressure being felt. And now the third Black Widow's Peak. And now, that is it. Victoria claims her first victory in this tournament. And with it, higher seeded position than what Lyra Valkyria will be in. We're more than likely going to get a clash in a few nights' time between Alexa Bliss and Lyra Valkyria. That will obviously be confirmed tomorrow night. But before we get to tomorrow night's Winter Classic matchup, we obviously have one more bout today. Abyss will be taking on Big Sexy. Don't want to miss that. As we continue through these replays, you just see it was a close affair until the action spilled to the outside. Victoria had enough. And she just crushed the spirit that was Lyra Valkyria in this matchup. Obviously, this tournament is grueling until the very end. Or at New Year's Clash, we will see the Winter Classic in full effect. Stars will be then slowly eliminated during that 8-woman and man tournament. But for now, looking at how the seeding shapes up,
Here is your winner, Victoria!
we're more than likely going to see Julia. Well, we've got to see Julia and Nia Jax determine first seed. But who will face him? Will it be Alexa or Lyra? We'll find out soon enough. Well, let's get into it. Our second bout tonight. As the bright lights of the NWO fill the arena.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Making his way to the ring, representing the NWO from Detroit, Michigan, weighing in at 328 pounds, Kevin Nash.
Big Sexy. Ready for action. This man is a little bit annoyed. Obviously sitting with 0 points to his name. He's in a position of, well, struggle, shall we say. A win tonight could do a world of wonders for this man, as he will tie up the standings with his opponent. As the Monster Abyss, victorious in his last outing, earning a massive 3-point victory over the former Undisputed World Heavyweight Champion, Roman Reigns. But if...
And his opponent from parts unknown, weighing in at 350 pounds, the undisputed television champion, he is the Monster Abyss!
If this matchup goes a certain way in favor of Big Sexy, we will have Abyss and Nash on 3 points. If we look at the other side of the bracket, if Bryan Danielson loses his next matchup on the final day of the regularly scheduled Winter Classic, he'll be on 3 points. If Roman Reigns loses to Will frickin' Ospreay, he will also be on 3 points. That means that we will have Carnage at the bottom, or in the middle, I should say, of this Winter Classic sort of standings. And the reason I say the middle is because in Division 1, we've got a start on 2 points, a start on 1 point, and that just causes carnage to the results, because they are currently sat in 7th and 8th if Kevin Nash loses tonight. Obviously, the outsider wants the big W here, and he almost pulled it off against Will Ospreay in his last matchup. Utilizing the help of Scott Hall, he didn't do enough to put away the aerial assassin, who came back swinging pretty gosh darn hard and, well, put an end to that misery. As well, the hidden blade took another scalp, and the kind of gave us a sort of, what's the word I'm looking for, warning to Big Sexy that, well, Will Ospreay is not an easy opponent to pick apart, and, well, you're gonna need to do something else in order to take that championship away from him. But as we focus in on this matchup right now, Big Sexy in control. Abyss has really struggled to get going in the early stages. Big shot caught, and now Nash fires one off on his own. Manhattan drop connecting. Referee getting involved, blocking the path here for Nash, but still able to get Abyss in the corner and starting to work his way through the legs of the monster. Sidewalk slam connects and the pinfall comes through. Is this enough? Answer's no. We are starting to see some dominant positioning here for Big Sexy. Drops the elbow. This could be a sign that, well, the double champions, or, well, Nash wants to become a champion here in IPW. With that briefcase, he's guaranteed that shot whenever he deems fit, but Abyss right now, caught, catching, torture, rack bomb, connecting, and goes for the cover. Nash has been caught off guard here. Out of nowhere, Abyss striking. This is something Abyss is good at. Hitting these sorts of shots. Black hole slam connects. It's what he utilized to great effect to put away Roman Reigns. And, well, now he's taking it to the briefcase holder. To the man who's probably got next dibs on the championships. He goes for the roll-up, though. Nash catching Abyss. Gets a quick 2 count. Very nearly the match was over there, but still it rolls on, and still delivering decisive maneuvers are both these stars. A big boot to a seated Abyss connecting. As we look at actually the top of this tournament. Right now, as it stands, we have the possibility of a first/second seed tiebreaker dependent on a result in a couple days' time. That being obviously Will Ospreay, Roman Reigns. If Ospreay wins, he faces the American Nightmare in a battle of champion versus champion. And that is certainly an interesting battle to witness. That obviously won't happen unless Ospreay wins. And obviously, if Roman wins, then it becomes even more interesting. As well, he will go up to 6 points, tying Ospreay at the top of the leaderboard, and we get tie-breaking rules in effect, meaning that Roman would finish top of the division in a higher seeded position than Ospreay. But if Abyss wins the matchup, then it becomes insano. Because, well, he will also be on 6 points after a win tonight, and that's Abyss's best sort of position to be if he wants to get a higher seed in this tournament. The men's bracket certainly is interesting overall because it has been so explosive. Speaking of explosivity, Nash hooking Abyss up, takes him sky high with a jackknife powerbomb. Pinfall attempt off of that maneuver gets him a 2 count. But still, match continues on here. Nash utilizing his power to great effect. Just gonna keep punishing Abyss here. Once again, caught for a second there. I thought he was going to drop the leg, but instead, a big running STO from Abyss, changing the tune maybe slightly. That slight tune also ends in a black hole slam. Pinfall attempt again from the monster. Has he done enough? The answer's no. A second near fall off that maneuver. But he's keeping the pressure on. He's fired up. Nash catching the monster. A running STO of his own. And this is getting into a brutal affair between these two. They know what's at stake and they know the dangers of not winning this matchup. The pinfall through for Nash and a kick out given by Abyss. This is slowly unfolding into just a massacre here in the IPW arena here at City Limits. And well, Nash has caught Abyss on the return to the ring. Up he goes. Down to the mat with a jackknife. The third of the match, and that should do it. Has it? No. Somehow, some way, the television champions finding the energy, the strength, the determination and grit to kick out of this situation. Nash is throwing it all on the line. Sidewalk slam. Connecting. But still the monster survives. Still he's kicking out. Maybe that's done it though. A big impact to the chest. And no. The kick out. Receipted. Nash trying to follow it up. Can't do so. Abyss firing back. Monster sending Nash for a run. A drop down. But no. Belly to belly. Over the top goes Nash, and now it's a difficult situation. Both men shown such grit, such determination that, well, it's hard to determine who will win. Nash charges in, missing the splash in the corner. Abyss misses his punch, and now Nash catches him. Hooks him up, but no! Backdrop from Abyss. He realizes the mistakes. He's counted out of that jackknife position, and now shot connects. He takes the back. Torture rack. Bomb! Bang! The neck and spine of Nash crashing into the shoulders of Abyss. So much tantalizing damage on display here. Abyss not done. Black hole slam brings him down. Pinfall attempt. Has he done enough? Yes. The comeback match of all comeback matches in this tournament. Abyss survives Big Sexy and takes another victory in this tournament. And this is statements being made by the television champion, to say the least. He was outgunned by Will Ospreay and overworked in that matchup. He was outgunned by everyone in this tournament so far, but what he has is that grit and determination that makes him such a difficult opponent to contend with. As I say, and well, just surviving so many jackknives meant that he was able to realistically bide his time, allow his opponent to tire out, and then end the match in style. Black hole slam after black hole slam. Good night to Big Sexy. This torture rack bomb, the precursor to that final black hole slam. But look at this matchup. This is the sort of tournament form we want to see from our stars. And heading into the full-on Winter Classic, Abyss now takes a 6-point position.
Here is your winner. He is the monster, Abyss!
Obviously, he cannot finish top of this division, but he has got himself a better seeding in this Winter Classic. See you tomorrow, where we look to round out our second leg of this third round.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss, that's fact, taking big